Kennon Wesley Mason. I am the founder and CEO of Kennetic-Fit and Wellness, and I welcome all of you that chose to participate in engaging in this specific video that relates to Holistic Life-Counsel. Kennetic-Fit and Wellness is split into three parts. One part is physical fitness. The other is physiotherapy, or what most people call physical therapy. And the other, which I will be discussing now, is Holistic Life-Counsel. And Holistic Life-Counsel is possibly a division of psychology that may be new to you, as it has been for many other people all over the country. It was new to me when it was presented to me back in 2010. And it's kind of funny how life operates. As I'm into holistic psychology as a practice, it's funny because back during my college years, I actually took a psychology class or a course. And I think it was my second semester in college as a freshman. And my mind at that time, my 19-year-old self, I think it was my second year versus my second semester. I think it was my second year in college. My 19-year-old self was not as in tune to where my thoughts were taking me at that time. Not that they were taking me in a negative direction, but I wasn't conscious enough to know exactly what I was studying at that time. My total focus at that time was music creation, or creating music production, and audio engineering as well. I've always been intrigued with sound technology, and it's still a part of me today. But later on down the road, as life progressed, I went into natural health by way of massage therapy as a profession. As of 2002, or in 2002, I entered into the profession of massage therapy by going through a 9-month course at Bryman Career College, which was a great experience. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to learn what I did at that time, because part of the curriculum was outside of massage therapy. Part of the curriculum was learning about energy. And my teacher was or is a Reiki master teacher. So I got to learn and actually feel energy. I literally got to feel energy being transferred from one person to another. And it's something that I'll never forget. Not only the feeling, but what I visually saw as my eyes were closed. It's something I'll never forget. Actually, one of my tattoos is in representation of that vision, and it's something that always stuck with me. It let me know, or it verified that energy is real, because I felt it. And I visualized it as well. And this was in 2002. So fast forward 8 years later, as I'm going into natural health, learning about natural health, learning about different foods, food products, and how food affects the body. And I started to change my way of dietary implementation, and just started to gradually change the way I looked at food and my food intake. And I started learning more about the inner workings, if you will, of all of the substances, or many of the substances that are put in our food supply that affect the brain. So in 2010, after 8 years of just kind of taking gradual steps to learn natural health, 2 things were presented to me in 2010. The first was joining a success club, which taught many of the principles of the human mind, and I got to meet some very prominent and interesting people, whether they're former government officials or thought leaders in their respective fields. So it was a great experience for at least 3.5 years. And still beyond that, I still apply all the teachings that were presented to me at that time in 2010 through this organization. I still keep in contact with a few people from there, and I may go back at some point. But that was introduced to me, and I learned so many things about the human mind and the human brain, and how we all interact as human beings, and how we can all create what's called the master mind by way of the like-minded thought, or like-minded thoughts, or individuals that have like-minded thoughts that come together to establish a collective end result. So from there, I got a call, a random call from the Institute of Holistic Health and Wellness, the American Institute of Holistic Health and Wellness, which was an institute in New York, and they were presenting a holistic psychology course through Dr. Dolores Seymour, PhD, who's no longer with us. And I was one of the lucky ones at that time that was able to take her course. And I've gotten to be acquainted with a few other people around the country that also took her course as well and have gone on to do great things. And so I took her course in 2010, and in 2011, almost a year and a half later, I received my board certification as a holistic psychology practitioner. And so the thing is, from there, I didn't utilize my certification immediately. In that time, I was brainstorming Kennetic-Fit and Wellness. It wasn't really official until 2014. But nonetheless, prior to that, I got my feet wet, so to speak, by, just introducing my services to people that I worked with at the time. And just kind of going through the learning curve of counseling with people as it related to physical fitness, because even in physical fitness, many people have psychological adversities or challenges that they want to overcome, so they can get over that hump, and things will be made, or the process will be made a little easier, and the process will be made better each day. And so I just kind of developed the practice of counseling with individuals through the course of time, and also self-study, self-evaluation, self-awareness, which is what I had to do during my course. I had to do self-evaluation, I had to do self-assessments, and really take a great inventory of myself and what direction I wanted to go in life. And so it was a real eye-opener for me at that time. but I was grateful that I was able to take this course. Fast forward to this past year, the summer of this past year, I made a conscious choice to retake my holistic psychology course just for my own satisfaction. This wasn't for a pass or fail grade, nothing official. This was for my own personal upgrade and like a refresher course, or upgrading my frequency, if you will, or upgrading my vibration, or adding more elements to my vibration, or raising my level of consciousness even more. And so comparing my writings in especially with my the final two questions, where I literally had to write like a dissertation, especially after 11 years going by, I had a lot of life experience to practice, or I had a lot of life experience to put on paper. Plus, I'm a father now, so that added to the equation on how my life changed over a 10, 11-year period. And so now, at this particular time, I am more equipped to give more to those that want change in their life. I recently did something to solidify my board certification. I became a member, board certified member as a holistic health practitioner, which solidifies my board certification as a holistic psychology practitioner through the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. So that gives me and my practice the highest credential of credibility in this practice, or in any holistic practice, because I also have my third degree certification as a Reiki master practitioner, which I received in 2005, December of 2005. And I'm grateful for that. That was through Judith Bilson, who is a Reiki master teacher. My first Reiki attunement was through Timothy Zimbeck, who was my massage therapy teacher. He was a Reiki master teacher as well, and he was also nationally certified as a therapeutic massage and body worker. So I followed in his footsteps, and I also became nationally certified as a massage therapist. And I held that title for 8 years, from 2004 to 2012. And I learned so much during that process. So that just helped to help me to gain further knowledge on the inner functions of the human body. And so now, at this time, at this present time, in this specific unit of time, I can give a better dialogue and better conclusions on some solutions, or just some things that you may want to consider about how you can make life better for you. Because when life is better for you first, then life can be made better for those in your circle of influence. And when everything is well in your circle of influence, then you will see day by day by day by day that life doesn't have to be such the difficult game to play. Life is a game, and we all, by default, have our learning curves. We make our errors. Some of us learn from them. Some of us make the same errors over and over and over again until we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And negative occurrences, negative circumstances that seem to perpetually present themselves. Nothing happens by accident. All things happen by way of our thoughts and our emotions. Nothing else. And how we interact with others and by way of their thoughts and emotions. But no one's thoughts and emotions can affect you. Only others on the outside of you can influence your thoughts to change, but you have total control, 100% control over your thoughts, what you choose to think, and how you feel about your thoughts. All that is under your control. All that's under my control. This is the beauty of being a human being in your own specific reality. This is your reality. The old saying goes, you create your reality. I mean, I did a 20-minute video on specifically, you create your reality, which is on my YouTube channel at Kennetic-Fit and Wellness Info. It's something that all of us have been gifted with. All 8 billion people on the planet now, all 8 billion of us have been gifted by divine order that we are in 100% control of our own thoughts, which we call the instant miracle, when we take 100% responsibility for everything that happens in our life journey. Not blaming outside influences for what happens. No, that's the ultimate disease of the mind. Blaming outside influences for everything that happens in your life. Or many of us play the victim role, thinking that we only have limited control over what happens in our life, or we believe that our parents made us the way that we are as adults. Some of that may be true to a degree, but at the end of the day, you still have total control of the choices you make. And some people believe they only have limited control over what happens in their life. No, you have all control, 100% control over everything that happens in your life. And the moment this is acknowledged, you've taken a great step towards better life and better circumstances. So consider Kennetic-Fit and Wellness, and consider Holistic Life-Counsel for your because holistic psychology, Kennetic-Fit and Wellness, we're talking about physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual wellness. That's what Kennetic-Fit and Wellness is. Physical, by way of for many people, physical fitness. Emotional, psychological, and spiritual, by way of how we think and feel. Not only about life, but how we feel about ourselves. How we feel about others. And overcoming internal adversities. Overcoming internal grudges or grievances, because many of us have grievances. Many of us have internal conflicts, possibly esteem challenges. Some people may have relationship challenges. Some people may have challenges with food, their relationship with food. We've heard of anorexia nervosa and bulimia and many different eating disorders, or what they call eating disorders. But where does the disorder come from? Where does it originate? They don't just fall out the sky one day. All things are a development by way of our environment or our environmental habits or us being a product of our environment. And many of us by default have been in our environments, as children. We don't have really the choice to choose our environment. We grow up in certain environments and we have to adapt. Some of us consciously adapt to do better. Some of us unconsciously adapt, and they soak up the energy of their environment, and they do adverse things, not only to themselves but to others. So, but this is where self-awareness comes in. Self-awareness, being aware of your behaviors, and if the behaviors are not creating positive results for you first, and positive results for the environment around you, then change needs to be considered. Change. So Holistic Life Counsel is broken up into two parts. One is standard talk therapy for those that want to discuss different elements of their life, for those that want clarity or solutions or recommendations or things, or some things to consider. Talk therapy, Holistic Life Counsel, talk therapy. And talk therapy can be about anything. Whatever it is, whatever challenges are facing you today or yesterday, or things that you may want, things that you may have considered for the future that you may want to, just kind of check in and keep your life journey in check by way of discussing maybe your frustrations or discussing a certain path that you may have been considering, and you want a second opinion, and it's okay. It's a great thing. So yes, talk therapy. And the other element of Holistic Life Counsel is what I call absolute brain and mind conditioning, where we give your brain and all of your neurology inside your brain an entire makeover, if you will, forming a new foundation. Absolute brain and mind conditioning is about creating a new foundation in your brain, creating new messages, new conditioning statements. Just like if you start to do exercise after not doing exercise for 3 or 4 years, you're putting resistance against your muscles that they haven't felt in years. And so this may be, this will be the challenge for many people to change the way they think, and putting new ideas in the mind, planting new seeds in the mind, planting new statements in the mind for your brain to accept over time, over and over and over again, repeating certain statements. So your brain chemistry can change, because when your thoughts change, your brain chemistry changes. When your brain chemistry changes, it releases chemistry into the bloodstream. This is how powerful your thoughts are. And when you create more positive thoughts consistently in your brain, it creates nerve pathways, or what we call neural pathways in your brain, for more like-minded energy to flow through. And it accumulates, it magnifies. And then you become a stronger magnet. You become the magnet. And then things start to kind of draw in towards you by way of your new thought patterns. And with consistency, by default, you will see changes. I mean, holistic psychology has been proven clinically, scientifically, and even if it hadn't been clinically or scientifically proven, it would still work, because we're talking about universal divine order that works for all 8 billion people on this planet. There's no one on this planet that it can't work for. Why? Because we're talking about the human brain and how the human brain functions and how it can and has been functioning for you, and how you can make it function for you so it can work to your advantage and you can have better circumstances occur for you. So consider Kinetic Fit and Wellness for holistic psychology, and it can be an eye-opening experience for anyone and everyone. Holistic psychology is for anyone and everyone. I mean, throughout the years of Kinetic Fit and Wellness, I've counseled and trained with people from all walks of life, people from many different cultures, because that's irrelevant. When you're a spirit being, all of that is irrelevant. For those that are ready for those that are ready to commit to change, for those that are ready to commit to being consistent, for those that are ready to consider something different, for those that are ready to consider something different, for those that are ready to consider possibly changing their belief system or their habitual system of beliefs that you may have had for a lifetime. Because beliefs can get people into trouble. Beliefs have gotten people into trouble. And beliefs can be changed like that. Anyone can change a belief. But what are your beliefs, and are those beliefs rendering you your heart's desire? I mean, are your beliefs giving you what you want in this life? If what you've been taught to believe, or what you've found yourself to be believing over your lifetime, if that has not rendered you the success that you would like, or the success that you believe you should have, then yeah, you might want to consider changing the way you think, changing the way you feel about you, and change the way you feel about life. Once that's established, again, things will start to unfold and unveil itself accordingly. And all the layers of adversity and all the layers of challenges will start to peel like the onion. You know, I mean, onions do make you cry, and some people may shed tears and release emotions. That's the greatest thing, because you're releasing all of this heavy negative energy. You're releasing it into the atmosphere. You're letting it go permanently, so you can be better, and you will feel better in the course of the process, because you're releasing all of this heaviness. You know, when people say, it feels like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders, because it has. It has. Because you've allowed yourself the permission to release your grievances, release your experiences, the negative experiences, or release the feeling of the negative experiences. The memory may still be there, but the feeling of the experience doesn't have to curse or haunt anyone for a lifetime. We're supposed to learn from each experience. Learn from it so we can be better. I mean, this is what life's operation is, to master self to whatever degree you feel necessary. So you can be what we say your best self. So consider Kennetic-Fit and Wellness for Holistic Life-Counsel, for talk therapy, or for absolute brain and mind conditioning, which starts out with 6 consecutive weeks. I mean, this is the foundation. If you're not ready to do 6 consecutive weeks to start, and that's just stage 1. Stage 1 is 6 weeks, absolute brain and mind conditioning. 6 weeks of laying a foundation in your brain, in your mind. 6 weeks. And then stage 2 is 2 weeks through the month. Every other week. It'll be bi-weekly. I'll put it that way. Bi-weekly. Stage 2. And then stage 3 is 1 session within that 1 month. Because stage 3 goes into greater depths on tuning your mind, or giving your mind an attunement. I mean, this is how great the human brain is, and this is how great certain practices that have been presented to me that I know work. And again, these are practices that have been scientifically proven. I mean, we're not going into avenues where we have to actually have discussions on whether these practices are feasible and reliable enough to be accepted. Because again, we're talking about holistics, and many practices with the title holistic have been rendered controversial for whatever reason. But usually when we're told that something is controversial, usually those are the things that work the most. So again, consider holistic psychology, and I can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for considering Kennetic-Fit and Wellness. If you believe Holistic Life-Counsel is right for you, whether it's talk therapy or absolute brain and mind conditioning, for standard or chronic anxiety, depression, stress, or any other clinical diagnosis or disorder, for feelings of guilt, grief, despair, and fear, for more insight and enlightenment, for happiness, joy, harmony, peace, and better life, contact Kennetic-Fit and Wellness at area code 562-306-8944. Kennetic-Fit and Wellness. Mental attitude first.